Hello, kids. It's Friday. Is it Friday? No, it is Saturday. My God, I keep on forgetting what day it is. It's been a long week. It's been a long week indeed here at Paradox Interactive. We've had so much going on. We had stuff going out there. We had things about our internal titles. We had stuff about our third-party titles. But we also had the opportunity to do a whole bunch of broadcasting from our studio on site at where we were at PDXCON. However, that is now all finished, and I toiled away the entire afternoon to build up the studio back to its original glory, and here we are. It's currently 5:04 local time here in Stockholm, Sweden, and it's time to do something that we haven't really done for a while. We're going to do yet another Arumba's adjustments, and who better to actually bring in for that than Arumba himself? Isn't that right, Arumba?
Yeah, I'm actually here still in Sweden, so we might as well do this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we might as well.
It's useful. Yeah, we found him roaming on the street.
Yeah, I was lost.
We saw him and we were like, wow, is that him? Get him and get him in the studio so we can talk about the things that we've been talking about in the last few months. Now, Wiz is here as well, and we're going to be talking about the Arumba's adjustments. The two videos that have so far been going up are initially Arumba's adjustments consisted of 12 points, and the second one consists of 13 ways, as the title actually say, but we'll go with points on this one. So, first of all, Arumba, how is your stay in Sweden here? And more importantly, what have you taken away from this feedback that we've been giving you on these adjustments of yours?
Well, the stay has been fantastic. This is, Paradox pulled out all the stops. They made it, the entire event has just been fantastic. Getting to meet the development team, especially Wiz and anyone who's involved in the games I spent the most time playing, has been awesome. It's been really good. And then as far as like this whole weekend, I've just spent bothering this guy about the game. like we'll be like driving to some event or something like, hey Wiz, hey, how about this? How about this? And it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun getting your responses. So
yeah, I mean it's been fun talking and putting you in front of the nation designer, watching you break the nation designer.
That took what?
Palming.
How long did that take me?
4 minutes?
I think it was 4 minutes, something like that.
Although
yeah,
you did
I
have like
this.
a 10-minute head start because you guys showed up before you were even supposed to show up. So
if you hadn't locked the doors the night before, we would have gotten in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the nation designer is spectacular. But that's not really what we're here for talking about today. But
no, we are here about something else. We're here about the Arumba's adjustments. So let's go over the actual initial list here. I'm quickly going to scroll down. As originally we had our list of adjustments, and can you just quickly walk us through with what those points were, and more importantly, which ones we actually added to the game, but and the ones that we did not add to the game, and then Wiz can go to the reasons of why we actually didn't do that.
yes, because I have them all memorized.
Clearly.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely.
I know them off the top of my head.
I'm quickly digging them up here.
I don't, actually.
So, yeah, Wiz actually responded to a whole bunch of these. Oh, yeah, of course. So, the Admirals and Explorers, they show up on the map. They basically have no function aside from, you can go Conquistadors and Explorers are effectively better than Generals and Admirals because they have the same functionality. It's just Conquistadors and Explorers can do more.
Right, and in previous to El Dorado, I think that was a pretty fair point, but it sounds like that's no longer valid.
Now that's actually changed.
Yeah,
the Conquistadors and Explorers actually get slightly few lower stats now.
Oh, you didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I didn't.
but
they also got more functionality.
Right, because you can do the exploration. You can search for the ruins and
no, but the
El
reason
Dorado.
I couldn't really answer last time was because we were still sort of discussing exactly what to do with Conquistadors and Explorers, because we were working on these mechanics, and we ended up going with, but we still want them to be usable as normal generals and such. So we add all this functionality, but we make them slightly worse. So you want them for all these new things, but you don't really want them for just regular combat duties.
Okay, so because I'm the type of person, I want to know exactly what you've changed.
Okay.
How much worse are they? Are they like -1 maneuver, -1 shock? Is it a percentage type thing?
It's a percentage thing. On average, you get about 1/5 less pips.
Okay, so you're saying then if I had 100 army tradition and I hired a conquistador and I hired a general, it'd be as if hiring a conquistador at, say, 80?
Sort of, yeah.
Roughly?
Roughly.
Okay, so you're always going to want to hire generals then if you're going to do mainland combat on Europe, but if you're if you want to do any kind of exploration, you'll need to hire the conquistadors. And then is it the same with the admirals, the explorers?
Yes.
Okay. So they'll get less maneuver, and well, their shock and fire values don't matter too much. But interesting. Okay. Cool. Well, I'm happy.
Perfect.
Now there's a purpose to it.
Excellent. On top of that, then we had your other point, which was the revolt risk showing on in the percentage in the macro menu. Apparently, it wasn't showcased very well, and I believe Wiz replied to that as, "Sure, we can change that."
Yeah, was that the autonomy one?
I think it was the autonomy one. Yeah.
Yeah, I can show that out real quick because that we did not add in the previous patch, but we have added it now.
Right.
So that's in there.
And I'm excited. It's awesome.
It's pretty good. So just to showcase exactly what we were talking about here in the autonomy part of the macro builder, unrest, which previously show at like a minimum of 0.
Right.
But the bad part about that is that you don't, if it just shows 0, you don't know if it's low enough that you will want to lower autonomy. Because you really only want to lower autonomy if that won't result in a lot of revolt risk. So you can see here at like Toulouse has -10. So then it's perfectly cool to lower autonomy because it would just result in an unrest of 0.
Right.
So yeah, simple as that.
That makes perfect sense. Exactly.
The screen tells you everything you need to know to make the decision, which is exactly the purpose of it. So it's awesome.
Cool. The battle pop-up showing the total loss of troop loss.
Yeah, why isn't that on there?
It will be done, but it will require a little retooling of the interface because it's kind of crabbed.
Because it's completely full.
Yeah.
Exactly. We discussed this last time as well. So
We could make it scalable UI.
Yeah. I'm saying it totally could be done. But I'm just saying it would be a little bit of work.
Okay.
Cool. Ships accept protect trade that they merged together in fleets. I believe we ended up doing that.
That happened right away, yeah.
That actually came out in 1.9 immediately. That was the Christmas patch.
I'm actually curious about your perspective on that because you put it in right away, and there was a lot of feedback on the forums that was against it.
Yeah.
But after having it in for a while, have you seen anyone complaining?
No,
like,
but that's precisely what my perspective was. It's a sort of change where people will complain because they think they want this, but afterwards there was just nobody complaining, like 1 or 2 people maybe. And that happens fairly often.
Yeah, there were a couple of comments on the forums about it, but...
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying everyone loves it now, because obviously there are still people out there who don't, but it is the kind of change where people think they will hate it, but most of the people who think they will hate it don't actually end up hating it.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't imagine going back to having to manually grab every fleet and say, yep, okay, you guys are all on the same job, checking to see which job they're on, and then, okay, go meet up, wait and pause it again, merge, resend.
Yeah, it was a lot of micro.
Yeah. So, cool. It's
all
good.
right, cool. Then there was the NX tooltip. That was a bug that's been fixed, I believe.
Yep.
Peace deal screen should only show countries that you can negotiate a separate peace deal with.
Yeah, as I recall, we ended up saying no to that one because we wanted more clear. We didn't want to lose like this perspective of who was in the war and the ability to click them.
Right. I did notice you made a slight change, and it was like right around that time that in the peace deal screen, the icons for countries got bigger.
Yeah.
They were very small at first. Now they're very big. Just as a spur-of-the-moment thought, maybe you could indent the countries that you can't negotiate with. Wouldn't take much space, and we could still kind of get what I want, which is more clarity on which countries you can actually negotiate a separate peace on. But it's just an idea.
I'm sure this is not going to be the last of spur-of-the-moment ideas.
Oh, I know.
Today, so I don't think we have to worry about that.
I'll just make a new list.
Yeah, it's fine. We can always do a third one.
Like I told you should make it a monthly feature.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you want me to do it that often. That might, we'll see.
Well, we will discuss that later on. By the way, for those people that are wondering, the video that refers to this particular series is up on the Paradox Extra channel. You can find that out there as well if you want to get more details about this. In the meantime, War Score screen should show battles and occupations as... what is this again? Oh yeah, the War Score system. Apparently there were problems.
Oh yeah, the whole war screen could use some UI improvements.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on the to-do list still.
Okay.
Okay, but it hasn't been done.
It hasn't been done. You're very disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, because can't you just grab the guys who work on CK2 and just have them come look at it, and they could just make it? It would take them a day, right? Just easy. Totally
Except
easy.
CK2 is a little bit busy themselves.
Oh, okay, fine. But yeah, that's basically where that idea came from. Is it like?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But no, I fully agree with you that the screen could use a bunch of improvements. It's just There are, you know, there are scheduled. I have
1
to
point
schedule.
for Arumba.
Yeah, you know, we still have to like release expansions and you know, make patches. We can't spend all our time on our Arumba adjustments.
Could you make like a war score screen DLC? Like
no,
you pay?
No, that's not payable.
No,
That
is not paid content.
That's bad payable content. That's
You're
awful.
right. Yeah,
I'd
pay for it though if you fixed it.
That's like the corporate you coming out here. That's not good.
Well, somebody had actually said they should make an Arumba's adjustments DLC.
That would be horrible.
Stupid.
There's so many like changes
ideas.
and trying to keep that all parallel, and you know, just from the perspective of like gouging people. No.
Yeah, that's not the idea. No. I thought it was funny though.
It's funny, but it's a terrible idea.
Cool. Let's see here. Another one was the rally point default for the armor designer.
Yeah, we kind of ended up saying no to that one.
Right, and I see now because you mentioned that it's not part of the. It's not. I had assumed it was kind of already built in, and that's not the case. So I could see where it'd be too much work. But that did lead me to another one, which I think is in the current adjustments, splitting the mercenaries.
Yeah,
we'll get there though. I guess we could talk about it.
Yeah, I know it. Let's go.
Okay, the loader autonomy build, the autonomy builder screen. That's probably something we already talked about. The war score indicator tooltip was bad, apparently.
That's also under the P screen. War screen could use some improvements.
Yeah, exactly. So that is pretty much the gist of this, I believe, unless we've missed anything.
2 points for me. I'm just kidding.
Are we keeping track?
I am. I'm keeping
I'm gonna
score.
start counting a point for everyone I say no to. So that's actually equal now.
Okay. Well, let's do it. Let's count them. Let's do it on the new adjustments. We'll count score. We'll keep it going. And
okay.
And and stuff that's already in there does not count for score, by the way.
No.
Just making sure. So just to see if we can clarify, off that we've put in the games. Let's quickly look at the interface right now. See if what we've actually changed from looking at those adjustments from earlier.
All right.
So that's let's go in the fleet thing about merging trade fleets, but that's all automatic.
Yeah.
So all the fleets that they merge automatically. We've got the UI stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
we send both of these to the door.
There you go.
And they will come back. Simple as that.
Excellent. So that's one of the main things I think out of this one, and as of course all this. So
Back magic.
So it's been out 2 months later, and Arumba posted yet another video called Arumba's Adjustments 2.0, called 13 Ways to Make Europa Universalis Even Better. It has currently 23,000 views and 1,244 likes, but 16 downvotes.
Oh,
that's just not. That's just
well. I mean, with that many downvotes, I'm
invalidates.
not sure this is a good idea.
Man, yeah.
Maybe we should just call this off.
Yeah. We should just call it a day.
Let's just go.
Anyway, yeah. For those people that are wondering right now, all of these are generally not feature suggestions. That is a major thing right here. Most of them are something that we refer to as quality of life. So quality of life basically means things that make up-to stuff a little bit more clear and basically made the game more playable. I think that was kind of the gist with these adjustments, wasn't it, Arumba?
Yes.
So when you wrote these, how many more of these do you have, out of sheer curiosity, that's right off the top of your head?
Well, since the last time I did this video, I have 3 new ones, but I just write things down as we're playing, and if they come to mind, if I mention it, then I write it down, because I can't be the first person to have these thoughts. I'm not the only person playing the game, so try to write them down.
Cool. So let's take a look then here. The 13 points. It's 1 point less than the original Treaty of Versailles, so that's always good. Manpower to show on the war screen. It's currently in the ledger, and you would like to see it on the war screen because it has significant impact on wars. And there were several things that you were saying. You know what? It's nice to have it on the war screen, but it doesn't make much sense to have it there. Manpower is far more important than anything else.
And I will, since I made the video, I'll retract part of that statement. I understand now the reason why you have stability on here is because if you're playing in multiplayer and you're sending stability hitting peace offers, knowing their stability is relevant. The problem for me was I always played against the AI for the most part, and the AI always accepts a reasonable offer. So to me, stability made, like, why is that on there? Right. It makes sense now. But like in regards to manpower, if you're at war, knowing how many troops they have, like manpower in reserve, is a huge factor in how strong that country is, and you can find it in the ledger. But having it on the war score or the war screen here would just be much simpler.
Yeah, and I have to say I agree. I mean, it would have to be hidden when the like other numbers are hidden.
Sure.
For us. But other than that, yeah, it could totally be added.
Now, one of the things,
I
though,
think the big question is just where to put it in the screen. Because we don't really want to remove stability.
Make it bigger.
Bigger.
Make it
the
crazy
screen.
talk.
You want to
make
instead
it
of a
bigger.
square, you want a
Hey,
rectangle.
okay, for example, in Victoria 2, you had this interface where when you were looking on a major decision-making screen, it would just take up the whole screen.
Yeah.
Why not do that here?
Yeah, I'm gonna do. We could actually widen it because this will like hide. I think. Pretty sure. Let's just try it real quick because I'm fairly certain.
It is also a thing with. Yeah.
This will just hide the other interface if you open it. So yes, we could totally just widen it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would work well on 720p or 1080p. It wouldn't matter what size you're on. But one thing that's interesting, and I don't know, maybe this is, again, spur of the moment, you're aware that if you disable the ledger in multiplayer, you can still see how many troops they have by hovering over the interface right there?
This one?
Yeah, that still works even with the tooltip, the ledger hidden.
I did not know that.
People are cheating.
It's terrible. Well, I should fix that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's fine. If you want to play with those features where you disable the ledger, that's fine. But if you're not playing with that, let's make things transparent, make it available.
Yeah, I've also been sort of on my to-do list is to actually like have a setting for multiplayer where you can just see all the numbers. Because if you say playing co-op with a couple of friends, then hiding all the AI troops, there's no real reason for it.
Exactly, and that's come up for us where, like, Northern Lion will be playing and we'll be fighting the same enemy, and because it's multiplayer, you just can't see it.
No, I mean, absolutely, and that's already on my to-do list, so I don't know if that's another point, I don't remember, but...
No, this one's my point. You said you agree.
So we'll add my point.
No, I don't think that's how the point system works. But then again, you're doing the maths. Okay.
Good. So yeah, so that's 1 point for Wiz.
Maybe someone. We need a third party to keep tally the score. I think.
No.
What's the score?
Well, I thought Arumba scored that one.
Yeah.
Okay. We just had somebody walk in
It's
playing
not-
a Arumba score.
It's not really a competition, though. In the end, we all win. But mostly me.
But you will win more in this case.
Yes.
That's how it works. All right. So point number 2. The amount of alerts that are currently on the screen. For instance, if you start as England in one of the later starting dates, you start off with like 16 generals or something along those lines. I believe it's during one of the French Revolutionary Wars, or at least the Napoleonic Wars. Caps, like alerts for, you have too many generals, you have more, your monarch points are capped, papal influences capped. Basically, when you get to caps, that sort of thing. Or when rebels are active in subject nations, or allies that will join a war in progress, like modifiers like that, or just general alerts.
Yeah, there's a few more things that could use alerts, so it's pretty much just a straight yes to those.
2 points.
Yeah.
And I also have I also think that like another one that's actually on my personal to-do list is for negative stability, because I've noticed that that's something that happens with new players a lot. Like they'll do something that lowers their stability to -3, and there's this tiny red number. But there's no like, how do you even know that? How do you know how serious that is?
You could do like a Star Trek red alert sort of thing, you know, where the screen starts flashing and comets everywhere, maybe. I don't know.
Or like the screen could turn red on the outside, kind of like you're in an RPG and you're like on a low health.
Something like that.
Yeah, the like bloodstains from Call of Duty.
Yes,
Yeah, there we go.
Absolutely.
But yeah, if you have enough administrative points to boost stability and your negative stability, that could be a good alert. But to be fair, like, I'm not really coming up with fantastic like new thoughts here. All I'm doing is stealing from your other games things that are in there that should be in this one.
Several of those alerts are things that have been brought up eternally. It's just, but it's good to have a reminder.
Like a lot of them are in Crusader Kings 2, for instance. So. Okay, 2 points.
Yeah,
2-0.
That's because Crusader Kings 2 uses a dual system, which is low priority and high priority alerts. Or does EU4 have that as well? I'm not entirely sure, actually. I should play this game more.
This one has 3 levels. You've got the red alerts, the yellow alerts, and the green alerts.
Oh, of course.
You can see them.
Well, no, you also have the blue alerts when you land the spaceship on the planet. Never mind. A pop-up message when a revolt breaks out in a subject nation and or ally. Alternatively, an alert when they are at 85% in a subject nation for the rebels. Are also automatic and suppression of rebels in subject territory. What is that all about, Arumba? Have you had problems with this?
Well, I guess maybe I'm mistaken on the automatic suppression of rebels in a subject nation.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Apparently that does work.
Yeah, that does work.
But what I meant more would be like if you enable automatic suppression while your army is in a subject nation, that maybe they could be constrained to that area to protect that subject. versus going from, say, let's say you control Spain and you've got a colony somewhere, or it's just a distant location. You've got an army traveling halfway across the planet, and they can't deal with the issue in any kind of reasonable time, and like someone else will come in and take care of it, and then they don't
When you
stop.
say constrained area, do you just mean there should be like a max range on suppressing rebels?
Sure.
Because, I mean, constraining to just a particular vassal is bad if you're like just in a neighboring territory and they pop up across the border and your unit won't go there.
Yeah, I think that if you can constrain it to within like 10 provinces or something, maybe even have a like a screen that shows you how far they will go would be cool.
Yeah, the biggest problem with that is just explaining it to players. But I mean, it's probably a good idea. Just would need some extra work to also explain it to players so they don't set their army to automatic rebel suppression, expect everything to be fine, and just like, why aren't they going after these rebels? What are they doing?
Because the stack is about 20 times bigger than your automatic stacks, and they will go after them.
So I would say basically maybe if we figure out a good way to display it.
Right. And then the first part of that, though, was the pop-ups.
Yeah.
You don't get a pop-up if there's a rebellion in a subject nation.
In a subject nation, absolutely, that should happen.
In an ally, I agree, is questionable.
I'm more dubious to that one.
But the subject nation is very frustrating, especially with colonial nations. You ignore the New World, come back 6 months later, and what the hell happened? You guys are falling apart. And you have no idea that's happening.
Sure, then that's a pretty damn easy change, so we can just do that.
So that's like 0.75 points for me then, right? Because it was mostly a yes.
0.5 because you were wrong about something.
Okay.
Yeah, because, if he was wrong about something,
actually, that's the whole point. I think that's the whole point of
minus 10.
There, so. plus 1 stability right there. Okay, the combat width on the tech screen is fine, but the actual base combat on the military screen is problematic. What's going on there?
Right. So when you look on the military the technology screen, you can see your combat width, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is misleading to the player because it shows combat width 5. That's an increase to your base combat width, which is 15.
Technology.
There's nowhere in the game. I just happen to know it's 15, but you need to learn that either from experience, the wiki, or some other place. And what I had proposed was that, like on the simplified terrain map mode, when you hover over a province, it should say, "This is the combat width." And then in the tooltip, it could show like it's 15 plus 5 minus 50% because we're looking at mountains.
Would you see any reason it couldn't just be in the normal tooltip? I mean, it's not that cluttered a tooltip.
Then, yeah, I mean, if you're showing terrain on that map mode, it makes sense. But you want to just make sure you don't put too much.
You also wanted to add it like here, right? In the military
on the military screen would make sense.
Yeah, we actually have like an internal task for that, so that'll happen for sure. But adding it to the normal tooltip, I think that could be done.
I would like that simply because, like, I know I want to defend in mountains and in hills, and it's not usually because of the combat width, but
it matters.
You know, kind of intuitively after playing for a while, that you have a better setup in those provinces, and knowing specifically what the combat width will be could help you to prepare specific armies that are a certain combat width of effectiveness before moving into that land.
So how about adding something like you currently have the army designer? How about something instead of when you have the army designer, you actually have a modifier, a tooltip that says, in planes, this army's combat width for you currently will be this.
Yeah,
right.
But we have a ton of terrain types.
Yeah, but we could also do this with the extra info that appears when you have an army selected and hover over a province. We could actually even show the dice penalty for the terrain because
that would be
not everyone knows that intuitively.
Right. Same thing with.
So I think we could just add those two things on the terrain here. And before, like, the supply limit, when you have an army selected and you're hovering over a province.
Right. Based on current technology, combat width would be...
easy enough.
Yeah.
Cool. Excellent. That is what? Points? What are we doing that? Or are we just...
I win.
Okay.
It was me.
Fair enough. This is one of your favorite ones, by the way.
Yes.
Supporting rebels.
No. Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Basically... doesn't really matter if you get found out because next month you're going to send more. There's no real impact for rebels supporting rebels. There's no negative modifiers.
There's actually a cooldown on how often if you get caught you can't spy on them for a while.
As far as supporting rebels?
Yeah, added in the 1.10 patch. We've added
new to the game. Okay.
Yeah, new to the game. So we've added a cooldown where when you are sending a spy and you're discovered, there is a while before you can actually spy on them again.
Off the top of your head, do you know how long the while is?
5 years.
5 years?
Yeah.
So you get caught supporting rebels, and it's like a 3% chance you get caught because of reasons, and now it's 5 years? You can't support them again?
We also tweaked the discovery chance, if I recall correctly.
Okay.
Well, if not, we might have to tweak it more. But I think that like the way the espionage worked was kind of stupid. And
okay, you
to
heard
say
it
that
here.
about my own game.
You heard it here first.
Because
folks.
spy defense didn't actually do anything. It's like, okay, spy defense, yes. The chance that someone is caught and then immediately comes back.
How many
What's the
people
point?
in the chat or even watching this anywhere knew that there was a spy defense and spy offense stat that could be viewed from your province or your country's screen? It's in there, but
yeah, now it actually matters.
no, it doesn't. In each individual province had a spy defense value based
Oh
on
yeah, oh you mean the
buildings
individual
and-
province spy defense, yeah.
It's-
Well, but now at least the global stats matter.
Okay. Now, I think also in that event, or in that option there too, was more information about rebels, right?
Let me see here. That is the...
Because it wasn't just...
Yeah, more versions, like specific rebels supporting, like royal rebels or...
The issue I had with support rebels, it was not just that your guy could be sent back, you just send him right back. It's that this tooltip means nothing. There's the 0.00%, these numbers, they're wrong. They don't make sense.
All right.
They don't add up to anything. Like it used to work when it was revolt risk. Now that it's unrest, the numbers
That's
are
probably just a straight bug then.
they're just wrong. But then the other thing is that right now you can see information about the size of the rebellion, how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, but after you send the guy, you cannot see, right?
You can't see anything else about it. You have to unsend, resend to actually get information.
That's fair enough.
Do you
But-
think that it's possible we could see like how close the rebellion is to actually firing? Like 90%, 80%,
Yeah,
like the progress
yeah,
bar?
sure. That's not even
Could we put that in the outliner, kind of like you do with like a diplomat who's improving relations, so we could see like this diplomat is doing this
right.
task.
You mean like as the number next to
yeah,
the
and,
diplomat?
okay, so he's at 80%, the rebellion's at 90%, like it's you can
I mean, if
see
you
it
send him right now, it just shows opinion.
shows the opinion,
Yeah,
which is
only show
useless.
the progress of the rebellion.
That would be amazing. Because then you would know, like, okay, is it like, I hate when you're in a situation where you're spending like 20 ducats a month to support rebels.
Yeah, but we can also put into the tooltip, like the tooltip you have when you hover over the rebel faction in the country,
Right.
showing like the chance of increasing rebellion each month.
Please, yes.
Sure.
Please. That would be amazing.
We can do this.
Because right now it's like, I'm spending 20 ducats a month and I have no idea if are they going to rebel? Am I even, like, you can support rebels and then something can change in their country and now you actually have 0% chance of progress and you don't know. And you're just throwing money away. And you would assume the peasants that you're supporting would actually say, hey, we're not planning on rebelling.
But thanks for the money.
Yeah, thanks for the money.
Actually, why would they say that?
We're just literally, yeah, exactly. We're just chilling out here in the
Yeah.
pastures, and our Lord's a pretty cool guy. Why won't we do anything?
Right.
Yeah.
Because
No, they're just standing around, and then they're like, "Oh shit, he's coming to check on us! Grab the pitchforks!"
Right, like I love the concept of support rebels, and also you get power projection for doing it against your rivals, so it just seems like something you should be able to do more with.
No, but absolutely, that interface could use some improvement. And if the number, I cannot comment on the number not meaning anything because like I couldn't check it right now.
Sounds like a
but
bug.
it sounds like a bug.
Yeah, and I think it's just because of the unrest change.
Cool.
All right, cool.
So basically the people in the chat are saying, in general, espionage is currently useless. And I think that's pretty much what we got out of this.
Well, it's
Here's-
not useless. It's
Here's
kind
a
of clunky.
I will do a spur of the moment suggestion that's come to mind. Is there any way that we can like unhinge some of the features that you unlock in the espionage idea group, give them to everybody, but then make it so you have improved versions if you take the espionage idea group? Because right now you never ever take espionage because it's terrible, and you can't do things like sabotage reputation. You just never see any of that happen.
It's kind of too big of a like revamp for me to just give a straight answer to. But what I will say is that I do want to do more with espionage in the future.
Okay, I'd love to see like some more compelling reasons to try different idea groups.
I definitely do think that the espionage idea group needs more reasons to take it.
Okay.
But I won't discuss specific solutions like that. Because it's sort of it's not really the quality of life or minor change, it's a redesign.
Right, yeah, that's fair.
Cool. Well, that's our second spur of the moment.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Feel free to throw them in there. Let's see here. Ah, yes. We actually discussed this one at the coffee machine a while ago. The Build All Mercenaries button is apparently awesome due to the amount of artillery troops you can build, and you'd rather... However, in all of its awesomeness, it probably would be better if you could just build all infantry, build all cavalry, or build all artillery. Arumba, don't you like cannons? What is wrong with you?
Well, the reason I'd like the ability to do it is because I want the infantry to combine. I want them to
You
combine.
want the mercenary infantry because infantry are the guys that die in battle and they're the ones you need to reinforce you. Yeah,
I don't know why
I'm just going to say a straight yes in this one, because I want it myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'll make sure that the person who's keeping score is aware of this.
We're at like 5.5 to 0 here.
Yeah, you know, you're currently incentivizing me to start shooting your stuff
I
down.
know, and we're about to get to one I'm really excited about. So okay, it's actually 6-6. You're winning, or 5.5 to 6. You're winning. This next one, I think you should definitely agree with. It's only fair.
Is this the co-belligerent allies?
No,
thing?
not that one.
Oh,
Okay.
well, we're up to that one at the moment. So
Okay.
the co-belligerent allies on the declare war screen, so you can make the decision there whether or not you make them a co-belligerent.
Okay. So this one, right, is that it's hard to tell what allies a co-belligerent will call in, right?
Right. What does it do when you click this button?
Yeah. So one thing that was sort of originally planned but didn't make it in, but is still in my to-do list, is that it should actually, like, when you check someone as co-belligerent, it should add who they're calling to the allies list and very clearly mark them as these are the allies of this co-belligerent. So that is basically what's going to happen. I just can't say exactly when.
Okay, that's exactly.
Probably not in the distant future.
Okay, but that's exactly what I'd like to see. Is that when you check that box, you need to know, like, okay, what did that just do? And all right, well, I guess we agree though. So
yeah,
nothing to
you didn't want me to agree on this one, so
well,
now I'm free to disagree on the next one.
Shoot it down. Shoot it. As long as give me the next one or whatever. Right. I don't know what the next one is.
The next one is the yes.
This is the one?
I think this is the one. You have been talking about this for the last
all
4 days.
Weekend.
So, the control alt click or any combo, perhaps auto siege move that allows you to move an army to a province and then tell them to siege that province and then move on. Basically, you want waypoints, which waypoint sieging. That's what you're saying.
Right.
Or a very simplified versions of battle maps.
Yes, without having to do any of the hard work that's involved with the battle planner in Hearts of Iron or anything like that. We're just talking about, I want to be able to issue multiple commands to my armies. And again, this is the major selling point. It would help in multiplayer because it wouldn't require you to pause the game every time a siege finishes. Instead of having to have your pop-up set up so that when a siege finishes, it pops up and pauses the game, and then you can go issue a new command, you could just say, hey, Mr. General Man, I want you to siege this, then this, then this, and then go back to safe territory so you're not suffering fully defensive attrition, for example.
Yes, and here is where I'm going to be very enigmatic.
No, don't.
And I'm going to say, I like the idea, but I'm not going to say yes. I'm going to say maybe, and I'm going to say I can't discuss it further because of secrets.
No, the chat's going to go crazy now.
Yep.
What secrets? You've got to tell me.
The secret kind.
No. Okay.
It's Rome 6 confirmed. That's the secret.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. Okay. Well, it's better than a no. I guess I'll take it.
Okay.
But
I'm claiming 2 points for that one.
Now you're talking, like, now we're looking at how many months, though, do you think it might be until we actually see this enigmatic solution?
Well,
because it can't be El Dorado.
No.
Unless you're working tonight.
Everybody's writing.
It isn't El Dorado.
Everybody's writing in the chat, by the way.
You know, I'm sure you can extrapolate what our release schedules might look like.
Well, I did. I tooled around the office a bit here. I took pictures.
Okay,
I know everything you're doing. I know all your secret projects.
Well, then no problem. Then I don't have to tell you my secrets.
Don't call my bluff. Come on. All right. Okay.
All right. Cool. Disable clicking on trait nodes while you're using army. Oh, that one.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Straight yes.
Yeah.
So it's not just trade nodes, though.
Yeah, I know. There's a bunch. I know there's a bunch of stuff, and it's just. Oops, it's basically just oops, we missed this.
So can you clarify, please, for us?
Okay. To clarify, it's like when you have the macro builder open, and you want to, like, say, build a unit or something. There's a bunch of objects on the map that if you click them, instead of building, you will select whatever's there, like the trade nodes. And this is bad. It used to be that way for units as well, which was even worse, but...
Yeah, that got changed in 1.8.
We fixed that, but we missed some other clickable things. And I mean, the standard that we want is that if you're building with this, nothing here should be selectable. It should just be, it should just bypass it and go for the province.
And the situation that really drove me nuts with this was when I was using the peace deal screen, trying to actually click on provinces as part of the peace deal, you select armies.
Yeah.
And it's normally not too bad on mainland Europe because the provinces are big, but when you're dealing with islands, oh my God. Every time you click on an island, you select the army.
No, exactly. And peace deal screen should be the same way.
Also, for people in chat, this is why our provinces are so big in our games. This is why Bermuda is so big. So you can click on it.
Yeah, I mean, if we actually try to represent some islands with their historical size, they would just be impossible to have as provinces because they would be so stupidly small.
Yep. Cool. So
Okay.
are we all cool on this one?
Sounds
Yep.
like a point goes my way.
All right, cool. Disable.
Not that it's a score. Just give me the army move, please. That's the one I'm the most excited about.
Is it possible to use fleet transport function to move an army directly onto hostile territory by ship, or should it be possible to do it without fleet transport function as well? Auto fleet transport should dock in ports whenever possible instead of staying at sea. So you want ferrying, is what you want.
Yeah, like in the current game right now, if you use fleet transportation, you can, here it comes, the hostile invasion of Cornwall. You can tell your troops to automatically board ships and go and do the hostile invasion of Cornwall. They'll just, and the reason it's hostile invasion in my mind is just that you're saying like go into enemy territory from the boats directly. If you try to do that without the fleet manager or the fleet transportation system, you have to wait until the Navy is in a sea zone adjacent to Cornwall before you can issue a move command onto the province. So I think that it should work the same in both scenarios. Allow you to just take an army. If it's on boats, right-click on the province, it'll go to the sea zone and then attack.
Right, so if the army is loaded on the boat and we like do it like this.
You should be able to just click right now.
Sure.
And it'll go to a sea zone and land.
Fair enough. I mean, we already have the, like, if the boat is actually in the sea zone. But maybe you said that, if you're next to it, you can do that.
Right.
Yeah, if you're in the sea zone
now that you're there,
now that you can do it. Yeah.
Well,
now it's gonna die.
The English are not very
damn it,
happy
England.
about, oh no.
You've just lost. And then the other thing, though, and I think this came up at dinner last night, was that the automatic fleet transportation should send the general first.
Yeah.
And it should also send like a reasonably designed army composition. Instead of sending all cavalry with no leader, it should send like, if you have an army that's say 10 infantry, 4 cavalry, and then like 6 artillery with 10 transports.
If it actually sends the all cavalry, that's definitely a bug.
It sends it in
but
strange
yeah,
path.
it should. Okay. But yeah, I get you. It should just send more sensibly. I mean,
yeah, it should send like to divide. Okay, I've got to divide this army into 3, so I'll just divide it as close as I can, and then I'll send the general first,
sure,
followed by the other groups.
All of these are basically reasonable suggestions for improving automated fleet transport. Some of them are a little more work than others, so, but I think they're all worth doing.
Okay, sweet.
All right, that's another point. Oh, by the way, welcome to Paradox Community Questions, where the points don't matter. Let's move on to point number 12. Make it so that loading a game of EU4. Yes, the
minorest of changes.
The minorest of changes, indeed. Basically, the question was: every single time you load up a game of EU4, you will have to reopen all the panels on the diplomacy screen. Could you save that, or have them all open by default?
We could have them all open by default, but this is another one of those where I'm going to be enigmatic.
Enigmatic?
And say, yeah, good idea, but it may not actually be relevant that much longer.
Interesting. That changes everything. But, okay. Weird. What are you working on? That's crazy.
2 points for me.
Okay, so every time you take an enigmatic approach, you get 2 points.
Yes.
I see. This is rigged.
Again, the points don't matter, so it's fine.
Well, you're buying drinks, aren't you, after this, based on who wins?
I think the other guy who's actually holding the score is doing that. So.
I stopped keeping track.
Apparently he stopped keeping track. So. Point 13, the last of Arumba's adjustments, point number 2. Now that trade fleets auto-merge as of Arumba's adjustments number 1. When a trade fleet takes damage and goes to repair, auto-detach those damage units to have them repair rather than sending the entire fleet to the docks and get them repaired.
Yeah. Yes. Definitely. So just to explain, you already said it, but it's sort of the... I personally agree that it's sort of the worst when you have these 100 trade ships and they capture one enemy ship and they all go to port to repair that one enemy ship. So, yeah, just yes.
Or, and I'm just playing devil's advocate, I guess, here against myself. What if, could trade ships that are auto-repairing, could they just have trade power while they're at port? Maybe not, because they're on,
No, because then you could very much exploit that during wars.
Right, yeah. But there have been some people already, again, complaining about this idea. They're saying, well, you know, then your fleet is split up, and I don't think they're making good arguments personally. But
no, but they will just remerge once they're done repairing.
Right.
So I don't agree.
We'll
with
go with you then. Yeah, because that's a big frustration because you lose all your trade power for 10 months while they're repairing.
No, absolutely.
Cool.
All right, so that is pretty much all the 13 points here from Arumba's adjustments number 2. And in all honesty, Arumba, some of these obviously we kept some score, but we don't really care about that. So in all honesty, you know, whatever. Wiz, what do you feel about these sort of things that actually happen when these videos go up? We always have discussions about them by the coffee machine or just at dinner or something like that. Like how do you actually deal with these sort of feedback points?
This sort of feedback is really good feedback for me because it's the kind of like interface, the quality of life, the stuff that people play and they're having a great time, but it's just this little thing, and it annoys them. And especially when the rest of the game, when they're having so much fun, and it's just this one thing that keeps bugging you. It's like this little ache, an otherwise perfect day. So yeah, I think it's great, and it's also the sort of thing where, you know, we don't have to sit here and have a long design discussion because you want to revamp the entire combat system.
I do, but...
And you do, but
no.
That's not what you're suggesting.
Right.
Instead, I can just sort of evaluate on its merit, is this worth it for us to spend time on to do this improvement, yes or no? And in most cases, it's going to be yes. It's just that I can't promise it'll happen right away because, you know, I only have so much programmer time.
Completely off topic. I'm just thinking, did we skip one? I think we did.
We did. We did the
ledger.
The ledger one with the trait notes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but that just came to mind because we were talking about
I'm just reading
interface
about that
things.
as well, and I was going through the list. And
I do have it memorized, apparently.
Yeah, so bring it up, please.
I'm sorry, but yeah, there's certain pages in the ledger that, this is my understanding of how it got this way. There's a lot of this information came from EU3, and it was just kind of ported over, which makes sense at the time. But there's certain pages, like specifically the trade tab, that I would like to know more information pertinent to the situation. Like what I like to build things from the ledger. I like to do things from the ledger because there comes a point late in the game where doing it from the map is slower than doing it from the ledger. We're looking at empire management, and like for example in the trade map mode, I'd love to know the trade node.
Yeah, I mean,
it's in.
As you say, it was very much ported from EU3, and we sort of put our resource into the macro builder as far as giving information. And I think, yeah, it's fair. I don't think it's super high priority, to be completely honest, but I mean, if/when we find time for it, it would be fine to improve some of the ledger pages, because a lot of it is just straight ports.
Okay.
All right, cool. Well, that pretty much will wrap up the additional point that we actually managed to discuss. When we were at PDXCon, and this weekend, or at least this week, I keep on thinking we do these things on the weekend for some bizarre reason. Have there been any additional adjustments that have popped in your mind? So we may as well handle them now before we make another video.
I don't have my notepad. I don't remember. But I know we've talked a lot, and it's not, but some of these are more design, they're not just interface stuff. So
they're systems. Okay.
Right, like we've, not to spoil it or anything, but we've talked about like the looting system in the game, being more transparent with that, or just changing it.
We have a lot of suggestions from you now, and a lot that I have said yes to, so give us a little time to actually implement it.
A month, at least.
A month, at least.
That's what you said last time,
before you come with the next list of demands.
That's what somebody said I should do. Since I'm going to be in Sweden, I should just take my list of demands and then nail them to the door of Paradox Plaza.
Well, we do have a Catholic church right down the street, so you can just do it there as well.
I think that would very much confuse them.
Yes. Like, why?
EU4 needs these changes.
Like,
yeah.
You guys, implement auto siege.
Like,
what?
We surrender.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they're not French, so it's fine. Oh. Sorry.
Wrong game.
Sorry, I just had
Wrong game,
yeah,
Matt.
I know. The big blue blob is awesome in our games. We will most likely follow up the series with 12 adjustments to make the big blue blob even better. I don't think you have to worry about that. But yeah, that will wrap up this particular broadcast from tonight, unless you have anything additional to add here.
No, not on this end.
All right, perfect.
All right.
Wiz, do you have anything to add before we go?
No.
All right.
I think we're pretty much set.
Excellent. Then we will wrap things up here for today. It's been a nice 45 minutes of sitting down with you guys and looking at the chat, and everybody seems to be fine. Apparently, Arumba is some sort of beekeeper. I'm not quite sure what's going on with that, but yeah. So it's one of the things that we beekeeper insurance is apparently a big thing.
He gave me some honey. I didn't eat it.
No, it's true. There was a lot of smoke in the building earlier, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with that. Anyway, this was Arumba's Adjustments reactions from Paradox Interactive here live from our tower in Stockholm. We found him on the street and we thought, let's take him in and see what he has to do. Feed him, keep him warm, and all that. Whether or not some of these adjustments will actually make it to the game is a whole different question. Anything that we say here is obviously, we can say things sometimes on these broadcasts doesn't mean that we will immediately implement things, or whether or not it's going to be over time. Things that being saying yes to, obviously we need to go in and look at these systems and whether or not implementation is going to be a problem. But however, we will mention them at some point down the line, whether or not this is actually had any impact on this. In the meantime, be sure to follow the channel, and on top of that, there's a big button at the bottom of the stream for Hearts of Iron 4, where you can follow the production of Hearts of Iron 4, and also be participating in the beta for that game. You have a chance to participate. It's sadly not guaranteed. However, you gotta click on our link, jump through your hoops, and you'll have the opportunity to do so. But in the meantime, thank you all for watching, and this has been it for Paradox Interactive Broadcasting this week. We'll be back again next Tuesday for more multiplayer in-house. I think we're going to do some stuff with the Nation Designer. At least I would hope so. I don't actually make the rules with it for this. I have no executive making decision making. So yeah, whatever. We'll be back on Tuesday. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you all.
Until next time, be sure to take good care of yourself and each other.
Hi, my name is Don Lind, and I'm the project lead for Hearts of Iron 4, a new grand strategy war game that's coming out early next year. We're here at the Arsenalen Museum, and Christer Holm is going to tell us about some of the vehicles from the period.
The Spanish Civil War was the war that was fought before the Second World War, and was a huge one. In the war, there were two different kinds of tanks participating. There were tanks from the Soviet Union with tank guns, cannons, 45 millimeters. And there were tanks from Italy and Germany, like this one, the Panzerwagen 1. They only had machine guns, so every time they fought with the tanks from the Soviet Union, they would lose if they met them head on. But superior tactics, superior command and control helped them. So in the end, that was the key to why they won the battle, and they also took over a number of these Soviet tanks. The whole war was one huge training ground and testing ground for different kinds of tactics, technology, etc., that would later be used in the Second World War.
In Hearts of Iron 4, the Spanish Civil War has two major points for the player. One is the political side. It's interesting to see the side that you think will benefit you later as an ally win the war, so you might want to support those sides. And there's also the aspect of gaining combat experience by helping them out with material or expeditionary forces. You can use this kind of combat experience after the war in improving your divisional structures, as well as improving the arms you have, so you could upgrade your tanks with better guns, because you found out that machine guns don't really cut it.
If you ask anyone in Russia or Ukraine today about which tank was the best tank of the Second World War, they will always answer